Mr. Lambert, and I will be going over the supplies you need for class. So grab your instrument, grab any supplies you have, and also grab a Sharpie or a pencil if you have one. Go ahead and pause the video. Come back when you're ready. Okay, so the first thing you'll need is an instrument. If you play violin, viola, or cello, then you will need some fine tuners attached to your tailpiece. If you don't have fine tuners, then take your instrument back to the store and ask for some fine tuners. This is how I will be teaching you how to tune this year, and if you don't have fine tuners, you won't be able to tune. If you play bass, then you have mechanical pegs, which means that you don't need fine tuners. Along with your instrument, you should have gotten a bow. If you play bass, there are two different styles of bow, French and German. We'll be starting with the French in class, but after a little bit, I will also teach the German, and you'll be able to choose whichever is more comfortable. Next, you need a case. Along with that case, you should have a name tag. Fill out that name tag with your name, address, phone number, so that if you misplace it, whoever finds it can return it to you. Next, you need a book. We use Essential Elements for Strings. This one actually says Essential Elements 2000 for strings, but they took the 2000 out in a recent reprinting. There are actually several different versions of the cover, but so long as you have a version that's brown and yellow, you should be okay. Just avoid the bold red ones. Those are from last century. Do make sure that the correct instrument is written in the corner of your book. Violin, viola, cello, and bass all have slightly different books, but they look similar, so check the name. Also in your book, you want to make sure to have your name written. This is where a Sharpie comes in handy. Just write your name somewhere where people will see it. And then sometimes the covers come off, so write your name also with pencil in the front page of the book. You also need a 3-ring binder, 1 inch thick, to hold the sheet music that you have. Next is rosin. Now rosin comes in all sorts of different colors and shapes, but it doesn't matter which one you get. $2 rosin will be just as useful as $20 rosin. The exception is if you play bass, then there is one kind of rosin I want you to get. Because the bass strings are so thick, you need extra sticky rosin in order to grip them and get a good sound. For bass, I recommend the Pops brand of rosin. I've tried out a bunch of different kinds, and this is the one that I really like. The next thing you'll need is a cloth for wiping rosin off of your instrument. You can get a fancy one at a music store for like $5, or you can make your own at home out of any type of soft, cottony cloth. You can use a wash rag or an old sock with a hole in it. Anything that is made from cotton or microfiber. Just make sure it's clean. You don't want your foot juice on your instrument. Next is a music stand. Now, you could pay out for a super awesome one like this, but you can also get a much cheaper one that's made from wire and folds. They are less sturdy, but you can get them for as low as $10, and they are easier to transport. The next supply is going to help you hold your instrument. If you play violin or viola, then you will need a shoulder rest. I recommend everyone get either an Everest or a Kuhn brand. There are other shoulder pads out there, and they look kind of like this, but they're not this. They will either hurt your shoulder or damage your instrument or just fall apart completely. So get an Everest or a Kuhn. Kids with slightly longer necks tend to find the Everest more comfortable. Kids with slightly shorter necks tend to prefer the Kuhns, but really either of them are good. Now your shoulder pad should be stored inside of your case, but some cases don't have room for a shoulder pad. So if that's the case, then you can also get a separate case for your shoulder pad that will clip to the outside of your instrument case. If you play cello or bass, then you are going to need a rock stop. This goes on the floor, and your end pin goes in it so that when you play, it does not move. Without one of these, then anytime you play on a hard floor, your instrument's going to scoot away while you're playing, and you won't be able to play very well if that happens. I prefer these circular rock stops, but they also make a squarish kind with a V in it that attaches to your chair, and that's okay as well. The last supply is an electric tuner. The best kind to get is by D'Addario, and it's called the Eclipse model. They come in different colors. In my quest for tuners, all the other ones I've tried have design flaws. Either they won't attach to your instrument, or the screen faces away from you, or they can't actually register the notes on your instrument. The packaging might say it's for your instrument, and if you go to the music store, they'll probably tell you, yeah, it should work on your instrument, but it won't. So, get an Eclipse. I hope you have all of your supplies. If you don't, then go out and get them. There are several music stores in town, and any of them will have these supplies. And then just make sure you have your name written on your case, your book, your folder. For smaller supplies like rosin, you might be able to fit your initials instead of your name. If you have a black supply, like this shoulder rest or this rock stop, then I have silver Sharpies that you can use in class to write your name. With the shoulder pad, you want to write your name on the top part, the plastic part, not on the pad, because that will rub off on your shirt. And similar for the rock stop, you want to write it on the top, not the bottom, that will come off on the floor. Okay, until next time, ciao!